Hi, everybody. I know I'm kind of probably abusing the privilege today, but like I said, I've got a bunch of movie reviews I want to kind of knock out all at once. This next movie review, actually, I hate to say this, out of like the 5 or 6 movie reviews I got to do, there's only one good movie review I got to do, and I just did it. Sorry about your luck. And it was Maleficent. In this movie review, I want to talk about Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, more commonly known, of course, as Doctor Strangelove. I had to look up the full name on Wikipedia just because I knew it was Doctor Strangelove and blah 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 blah. It's according to Wikipedia, it's a 1964 political satire black comedy film that satirizes the Cold War fears of a nuclear conflict between Russia and us. Basically, that's it in a nutshell. I have to tell you, I watched this movie purely out of curiosity. This is one of those movies that I borrowed from the nearby library to my house, just because it's like I've actually seen it on, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I've seen the trailer for it on there. I tell you something, this is one movie that I'm glad I borrowed it from the library, because the movie just stunk, just so bad that I watched maybe like 20-30 minutes of it tops and turned the thing off. I'm like, it's in black and white, and it just got to the point where the thing just kept dragging on and on and on, and I'm like, I just got to the point where I'm like, get to the point already. I'm like, it's like they're sitting in, it's like, it gets to the point where like they're sitting in, like, there's these bunch of men sitting around in a circle, and one of them's the president of the United States, and he's talking to this one general, and it's like these people can't find their heads with both hands on a marked map. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? It's just, I'm like, what? Just fix it. How hard is it to just have the president look at him and say, well, this is your all screw up. Fix it. If I had been the president, I would have said, okay, what exactly is going on? Okay, why did this happen? And what are you going to do to fix it? And when the guy told me, I'm like, okay, well, why are you sitting here staring at me? Go fix it. Or do you need me to go in there and kick your ass while you're doing it? Because with me, I mean, this whole movie is, Stanley Kubrick. This is a Stanley Kubrick flick. One of the characters' names is Jack the Ripper. And he's a general. It's General Jack the Ripper. And I'm like, really? It's just like, I was watching like the background stuff on this movie, off the disc, and I was going, and it's like they make, every once in a while, even, back like in the 50s and 60s, they made some real duds of movies. And this movie falls in that category of a real dud. It's not like Ouija, or Ouija, or whatever you call it, that I talked about in that first video that I did today. Where it's like kids going off and doing something bad. In this movie, it's grown-ups being stupid. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. It's like, of course, Stanley Kubrick, and this is mentioned in background thing for Doctor Strangelove, had a whole hang-up about, Russia attacking the U.S. with the Cuban Missile Crisis and everything else, and the guy had this big, huge hang-up on that, and I'm like, okay, and he ends up making a movie out of it called Doctor Strangelove, and the worst part of it is, in this movie, they have an ex-Nazi named Doctor Strangelove. He's the title character, and the guy's in a wheelchair, and I'm like, it's almost like glorifying Nazism in a way. I'm like, I never got to that scene in the movie, by the way, where like you see him. I mean, I just got as far as them sitting there in that, I guess, war room, yapping on and on and on and on and on, and it's just, I'm like, that's, you know, where I just was like, I've had as much as I can handle of this movie. Sorry. Sorry about Charles Luck, you know. I'm finito. I'm done watching. Turn that sucker off. I mean, it was just that, you know, much of a drain for me to watch it. I'm like, you know, I mean, it was putting me to sleep. It was that bad. I was like, if I wanted to go to sleep, you know, there's a P and Elrod book directly behind my head here in this video. You know, it's got a cup sitting on top of it. I would read that book. Not saying that P and Elrod is boring, but, you know, I mean, seriously, I'm saying, like, if I wanted to, you know, put myself to sleep, I would read myself to sleep. Or unwind myself mentally with a book to where, you know, it's like I fall asleep. Or like I'd get up and work a crossword puzzle, or do a, you know, a Sudoku thing, you know, where I'm like sitting there with my pencil, you know, figuring it out. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but really, it's like with these people, it's like, get real. You know, it's like this whole movie just stunk because it's like they're freaking out over, you know, the fact that like they went and bombed Russia. You know, I mean, the United States would not be so stupid to go bomb Russia even back during the Cold War, because that would cause World War III, and, you know, I mean, I don't think they would have wanted World War III on their hands at the time back then. But anyway, I mean, this movie was just one of the things where it's like, seriously, y'all made a movie about this? Well, anyway, I'm going to pause here because actually, I fibbed. There is one more good movie review I got to do. I haven't done it yet. So, hang on.